Police investigate the slaying of a teenager.
Also ahead, debate on the budget begins.
And the legends of the Miami Dolphins in town, the Bahamas tonight. The National Report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
More details revealed today about the country's fiscal plans as the budget debate began in the lower chamber this morning. Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight. I'm Andrew Knowles.
I'm Kish Latterly. Thanks so much for looking in. Our Shanique Miller was in Parliament as the State Finance Minister made his contribution, explaining exactly how the government intends to increase its revenue.
Value-added tax some 6 months off, the government is looking at existing revenue collection agencies to make tax collection more efficient and accurate. And the Department of Customs is central to that reform.
What we will see coming into effect, Mr. Speaker, is a marine unit of the Customs Department so that we can better police our points of entry. Mobile unit. People, for a long time, Mr. Speaker, spoken about with great concern private mariners and their role in smuggling and tax evasion, etc. And so we're moving towards setting up a marine unit.
A new K-9 unit is on tap here in New Providence as well as Grand Bahama. Several family islands will have the benefit of portable scanners. State Finance Minister Michael Alquita says it's something they're looking forward to assist with border protection.
Customs Executive Management has agreed to procure portable scanners. And they have identified several family island sites for deployment of portable scanners. And the procurement of the portable scanners, now we're in discussions with the IDB, and as well discussions will be held with NAD so that we can finalize the recommendations and the options. We have identified several training sites for customs operations on the family islands, and we will begin that training, stepping up that training shortly, Mr. Speaker. And the final part of the modernization program is an audit of the program. And all of these efforts combined, Mr. Speaker, we expect to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the Customs Department in collecting revenue and detecting smuggling.
Months ago, the government aggressively went after property owners in arrears. It's a revenue stream with the potential to pump millions of dollars in the public treasury. Now, refocused attention is being given to real property tax and its collection.
The government is in the final stages of contracting Tyler Technologies with respect to replacing the outdated real property tax IT system. And I would also like to note, Mr. Speaker, for the benefit of honorable members and for members of the public, that over 1,000 properties have been added to the register since the end of the amnesty period. 1,000 new properties, Mr. Speaker.
The annual ministerial allocations follow the trend of previous budget exercises. Over the next fiscal year, the Ministry of Health will receive the largest allocation of $214 million. The Royal Bahamas Police Force will receive $129 million. The Royal Bahamas Defense Force, $57 million. The Department of Education, $174 million. While the Ministry of Education, $68 million. And the Ministry of Tourism will have $91 million in the next fiscal year beginning July 1st. Shanique Miller, ZNS Network News.
Minister of National Security, the Honorable Dr. Bernard Nottage, is blasting a recent crime report issued by the United States State Department.
The report indicates an increase in assaults and sexual assaults at hotels, casinos, and on cruise ships.
I don't think that it is accurate. The incidents that have occurred on cruise ships, for example, are not incidents about the Bahamas at all. These are persons from elsewhere who happen to be on a cruise on a ship that is registered in the Bahamas. But these are not crimes by Bahamians, and really they really should not do that. Additionally, I think that we have an extremely successful tourist policing program. And I do not think, while we have had some incidents, there has not been a preponderance of incidents. Some of the things they're referring to, I think, have occurred a very long time ago. And I'm disappointed in that, I must say that. And but we will be having some discussions with them about the contents of that release.
Okay.
A compendium of bills presented in the Senate Monday morning, among them amendments to the Financial Transaction Reporting Act, Derelict Vehicles Disposal Act, and amendments to the Local Government Act. Senators also looked at the bill which makes the Bahamas compliant with the Financial Action Task Force. Government leader in the Senate, the Honorable Allison Maynard Gibson, says this step will regulate the cash for gold operation.
They are regulated as financial and corporate service providers. And Madam President, let me hasten to add that the regulations for that to happen will shortly be promulgated by the minister. So what we're doing is bringing ourselves into compliance with the FATF recommendations, and we have put in place the authority for the regime by which cash for gold businesses will be operated in the future. And we hope thereby to effectively deal with the illicit manner in which these businesses are now being conducted. And
Senator Maynard Gibson said government also hopes to see a reduction in crimes linked to gold trading. During his contribution to the debate, while supporting all of the bills, Senator the Honorable Keith Bell used a specific example of what was recovered from one of those cash for gold operations as support for his call for the regulation of cash for gold businesses.
By the time as we executed on that cash for gold place, Madam President, they had already started taking the diamonds, plucking the diamonds from the ring. Madam President, you have to see this to believe it. I don't care how the cat jumped. There is no possible explanation one could give to seek to plug the diamonds and melt down an NBA ring. But Madam President, we were able to recover the ring and return this. We made that jeweler restore the ring, put the diamonds back in, and return the ring where it needed to be.
Now, Senator Kwesi Thompson said the opposition supported the bills, but he raised this question.
Only question, in our view, or in my view, the only question is as to whether or not it should have been extended to all pawn shops to fully comply with what the FATF has said. Because we are also concerned with money laundering, with any person that pawns stolen televisions, anybody that pawns stolen computers, anybody that pawns any other kind of stolen article.
Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell left for Paraguay today for the annual General Assembly meeting of the Organization of American States.
There, he is expected to shed light on the allegations of the United States National Security Agency illegally recording every mobile phone conversation in the Bahamas.
Now, ahead of his trip, he talked about the many different or the broad implications of this possible breach of privacy.
And with no hard facts just yet, Minister Mitchell says all these things have to be looked at.
Hence, a foreign affairs officer has been tasked with collecting information from the public domain, and the findings of the investigation will be carried out by the Ministry of National Security, the Office of the Attorney General, and the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
And the reason I mention those agencies is because when you look at the Listening Devices Act, you will see that there are 3 agencies that are involved in listening in a lawful sense to people's conversations. The National Security Ministry, the Attorney General's Office, and the Commissioner of Police. What we know is that our offices, our National Security Minister, our Attorney General, and the Commissioner of Police have indicated that they are unaware of any such authorization. That's what we know from us. We've challenged the other side, the other political side, to say what they know about it. All of their offices have responded, with the exception of the former Prime Minister, and said, we know nothing about it and we did not authorize it. The fact is the allegations are still out there. And as the government of the day, we have to get to the bottom of this. And if there is unlawful activity, then we have to make every effort to stop it.
Meantime, the foreign minister says getting answers from the United States remains a top priority of the government, and he plans to meet with U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry to address the issue during the OAS AGM in Paraguay, with another meeting planned with Kerry's assistant.
Social media is alive with this, which means that the Bahamian population is agitated over it. I saw a very strong editorial by the Nassau Guardian in which they described it as an act of hostility. Even the Tribune, which is not normally on the side of these things, indicated that we need to get to the bottom of who authorized, if it is true, who authorized people to violate the privacy of Bahamians. So across the board, this is a matter of concern. So the government can't remain silent in the face of it. So it seems to me that the logical conclusion to it is once you find out that the law has been violated, then you've got to ask people to stop.
A 17-year-old boy was stabbed to death after being involved in an altercation on Blue Hill Road South last night.
And while the police's investigation into this latest murder is still in its initial stages, AltaV's Munnings tells us that the victim is allegedly related to a family that had their own share of problems with authorities.
Police made it difficult to travel on Blue Hill Road South near the S.C. McPherson Junior High School Sunday night as they cordoned off the area to try and find the clues on how a 17-year-old boy was stabbed to death. Wrapped in a white cloth, the teenager's body lied on the side of the road as eyewitnesses watched police conduct their probe.
Our preliminary investigations revealed that the male victim was walking south along Blue Hill Road along with another one of his friends when they were attacked by a group of males who, one of whom produced a cutlass and chopped the victim to the head, and another one produced an item and stabbed him once to the upper left back. EMS also responded to the scene and pronounced the male lifeless. We believe he's a 17-year-old male resident of the Solely Road area.
Can you say if it's in connection with any of the recent incidents that your officers are investigating? Particularly murder?
No, this is still early in the investigation. We're not certain as to why these two men were attacked, and so as our investigation progresses, we hope to unravel that.
We understand that the victim is the alleged son of Kevin Major, who we know the police are quite familiar with. Can you confirm that?
The victim is a 17-year-old male. That's about as much as I can tell you at this time.
We're still awaiting an official confirmation on the victim's identity, but our police sources informed us he is 17-year-old Enrico Major. Family members allegedly informed police he was supposed to graduate from high school in about 2 weeks. Now here's what we heard happened. Police sources say the victim's 18-year-old friend was reportedly performing an errand for a relative. The friend was allegedly approached and attacked by a man he knew. Sometime later, the 18-year-old returned to the scene with the 17-year-old victim when the attacker allegedly approached and attacked both teenagers with a cutlass. The 17-year-old later succumbed to his injuries. Our police sources informed us that the 18-year-old Soldier Road resident submitted a statement to detectives but was later released on Monday.
We are receiving some good information right now that we are acting on. I don't want to release that as yet, but we believe that we're going to find the suspect responsible for this before daybreak tomorrow.
Anyone with information on this homicide is asked to call 919, 911, or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. AltaV's Munnings, ZNS Network News.
Well, still ahead tonight, could a leadership challenge be on the horizon for the Free National Movement?
And the Dolphins are in town. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Lux Men's Warehouse.